Hey, Motorman here, and today I'm going to show you how you can practice both your low speed and your higher speed turns in one place at one time, starting with lower speeds and then increasing the speed. Now take a look at this. I made this myself, and I know some of you are going to make fun of me because it's not very good drawing. I'm no Hunter Biden, but it doesn't matter. What this is a severely winding road, which you have plenty of up north, and even North Georgia, the Smoky Mountains. This would be higher speeds, but we're going to go even sharper than this. And that's how we're going to learn to do our high speed turns and find our lean angles. So I'm going to simply take a look down here, camera girl. I'm going to run these lines back and forth. Now you could use 2 parking spaces, that's 18 feet if you're highly skilled, or 3 parking spaces, or even 4, whatever you want, depending on the speed that you want to obtain. So I'm going to show you right now what that should look like, and you don't have to set up any cones to do anything. This is just pull into an empty parking lot. You got an extra 15 minutes, you're just on a cruising around, taking a ride, you see a nice clean parking lot, pull in and work this exercise. It's a lot of fun, and it's going to improve your skills very quickly. I'm starting with the tighter turns first, and speed here is somewhere around 10 miles an hour, 8 to 10, possibly up to 12 miles per hour. And I'm using the 2 parking spaces. As I get closer to the end, I'm going to start picking up the speed and showing bigger turns. So you want to start small and then work your way up, or you could do the exact opposite. Start with bigger turns if it makes you feel more comfortable, and little by little tighten up those turns. Again, I'll be using the friction zone, a little pressure on the rear brake. My revs are somewhere around 1800 RPMs. You can either hold a steady throttle or blip the throttle, as I like to do. It makes me ride more aggressively. Now I'm going to pick up the speed and make the turns a little bit bigger. Speed here somewhere around 15 miles an hour. I'm not looking at the speedometer. I'm using my head and eyes to look only where I want to go. Faster and further you turn your head and eyes, the better. Still using occasionally the friction zone here, but you can even shift up into second gear and pick up your speed a little bit more, make your turns a little wider. For a lot of people, you may feel more comfortable doing the bigger turns at the higher speeds, but eventually you should be able to get down to where you could turn your motorcycle, especially a Harley Davidson, in 18 feet or less. All right, you're going to see this now from 2 angles. From my angle, what my head and eyes are doing, because the camera is mounted right on the chin area of the helmet, and also with my wife filming, so you'll get 2 views of this. Here I'm using friction zone, a little pressure on the rear brake, and of course my head and eyes. Speed here is about 8 or 10 miles an hour. Excellent way to practice this low speed handling. Running these lines, every parking lot's the same pretty much around the world. Well, let me say in America anyway. Usually the parking spaces are 9 feet wide. The idea is to try to stay within 2 lines and not go past the end. Now if you want to bring up your speed, don't even think about how many parking spaces you're using. Go well past the ends. Think of this as a severely winding road. If you want to go faster, use more parking spaces. You hear that scraping sound? You know you've reached the limit of the lean angle. So these spaces are really just a guide. Think of it as the road that you don't want to run off. For higher speeds, you're going past the end. For lower speeds, you're trying to stay within that 36 feet. That's what you have from edge of the parking space to the edge of the other parking space, 36 feet. Okay, so you see how easy that is. I'm just running the parking spaces back and forth. I'm using the spots as a guide. Like I said, in most parking lots you go to, the parking spaces are 9 feet apart. If they say for compact cars, it's going to be less. But normal parking lot, 9 feet wide for each space, and from end to the other end is generally 36 feet. So it's an easy thing to practice. You don't have to set up anything. In fact, I've got a video about this called Shortcuts to Riding Like a Pro. It's 10 bucks, and it's going to show you how to do these exercises without even setting up a single cone if you don't want to, if you're that lazy. But it takes just a few minutes of practice. You know, you get used to doing this, and the more you do it, the better you're going to get, and it actually becomes a lot of fun. Challenge yourself, time yourself through the exercise. Do it with a friend, see who's better at it. So get out there and practice. And here's a tip for you, especially if you're up north. Right now here in Florida, we're having a cold spell. With the wind chill factor, it's like 63 degrees. But even with that drop from 75 degrees to 63, I notice my light comes on the dash and tells me that my tire pressure is low. It's right now, it's 36 and 36. It should be 40 and 40. So if you're up north and temperatures drop down to 20 degrees or whatever, you get up there below zero, check that tire pressure even if you're not riding your motorcycle. In fact, when you store the bike, I would put 45 to 50 pounds of air pressure in each of the tires and check it at least once a week, because as it drops, the colder it gets, the more the pressure is going to drop. And you could flat spot your tires if you keep the bike in one single place, and you have it, when you parked it, it was 36 pounds of pressure or 38, whatever it may be. Now it drops down to 25 and the bike just sits there for a month or two. You could flat spot your tires. So that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this, and I want to let you know that a lot of people are going to ask me about this. What mufflers do I have? Well, I've got Tab Performance mufflers. They're 4.5 with the medium baffles, and right now Tab Performance, if you go to their website and purchase anything for $100 or more, you're going to be entered into a sweepstakes, and you could win a Stage 2 kit for your motorcycle. That's about a $2,000 savings if you win. Till next time.